Hello, my name is Kaya, and welcome to my presentation on nuclear energy. What is nuclear energy? Uranium is chemical potential energy, and uranium is the type of energy used as the source of power production for many nuclear power plants. It is a non-renewable resource, since uranium is a finite resource and has to be mined out of uranium deposits. Uranium-235 or uranium-238 are the only stable atoms that are able to be used as a source of energy, and nuclear energy is probably the newest type of energy that humans have discovered. All this accounts for about 10% of all energy produced globally. That's only nuclear power plants that are producing 10% of the world's energy globally. How is nuclear energy produced? There are two ways to produce nuclear energy. Nuclear fission. This is the most commonly used energy source for most nuclear power plants. This is when atoms that have a large mass, like uranium, are split into two and energy is released. Nuclear fusion. This is a reaction in which two or more subatomic atomic nuclei are combined to form one or more subatomic particle. The subatomic particle exchanges neutrons and protons until it is able to be used for electrical energy. This here is a diagram of a nuclear power plant. These right here, these are containment units, which usually house the nuclear reactors, and they have concrete walls that are meters thick. This bit here connects the containment units to the turbine room. This is where chemical potential energy goes into thermal energy, then goes into mechanical, then goes into electrical. And these two big grey buildings over the back here, they are cooling towers, and they are used to cool the whole plant. Energy transformations. This is the anatomy of a nuclear power plant. So this right here, this is a containment unit with a steam reactor inside. A steam reactor uses water and steam to transport radioactive potential energy into the turbine room, and all this gets cooled by the cooling tower. So this red lined water here never leaves this containment unit. It will keep cycling through. This little grey steam reactor here, this houses nuclear rods, either uranium-235 or 238. And that little grey reactor there, this is where the chemical potential energy turns into thermal energy, because the uranium is heated up with the water. This creates uranium steam, and this little reactor here transports that uranium steam into the turbine room. The turbine room is where the magic happens. From thermal energy to mechanical energy. Thermal energy is transported from the steam reactor, from the containment unit, into the turbine room, and in turn that uranium steam produces mechanical energy and spins the turbines. From there, mechanical energy is exchanged to electrical energy. Mechanical energy produced by the thermal energy gets transported through electrical wires or any power stations nearby, and then into surroundings in other rural areas. The advantages and disadvantages of nuclear power. Nuclear power produces lots of power, and it is one of the cleanest forms of energy because it does not emit any CO2. CO2 is a very harmful chemical that affects our ozone, affects our trees, affects our atmosphere, and is the ultimate cause of global warming. Nuclear power plants, as I said before, produce 10% of the world's energy, and this is very good, and it means we don't have to rely so much on fossil fuels. Nuclear power plants use less uranium to make the same amount of energy than if you were to burn coal or oil. So less uranium making the same amount of energy, again less reliance on fossil fuels. Costs is relatively low costs. Building is expensive, but the result of building gets your money back. So there was a study in Ukraine when they built their first 3 nuclear power plants way back actually, when the first nuclear reactor was built, and they got their money back within 10 years. plus some more. Disadvantages: space. Nuclear power plants take up lots of space, some nuclear power plants reaching lengths of 5 miles long and 3 miles in diameter. Accidents do happen. Sometimes nuclear power plants collapse, shut down, or leak radiated water. Environmental impacts. These accidents can lead to severe environmental impacts. Sometimes nuclear reactors just straight up shut down, but because of the uranium, and uranium is usually an unstable resource, the reactors are usually too unstable to move, and the result of this is polluting and radiating the environment and potentially humans around them, or around that reactor. Waste. Even though nuclear power is the cleanest form of energy, the nuclear waste is very important. Nuclear waste needs to be disposed of properly, and this is very important because it can radiate bodies of water, affect humans, forests, animals, you name it, and the environmental surroundings can also be very heavily impacted. So, if you ever come in contact with radiated waste, the best thing is to report it and stay away from it. In my evaluation, as long as there is enough space, people are careful where they put their nuclear radiated waste, and they are able to keep raw material contained, plus scientists are able to figure out a way to replenish uranium deposits, we should be able to keep creating nuclear power plants and keep producing nuclear energy. This is my bibliography. Thank you for listening.